you ever lived with 3 cats and a dog? If so, welcome to my hell. I'd say fury, but really it's just furry.
Full on Animal House over there. I finally bought one of those newfangled silk pajama pantsuits that evoke business casual. So I'll be taking my meetings in bed from now on. Thank you very much.
You deserve it. Hey, suburbia has its perks. I'm not sure what they are yet, but we'll get there.
You'll get there. Stopping to smell the roses is nice and all, but doesn't come without a hefty price of nose pain. Achoo!
Bless you, and have such a good day. Hello, world, and welcome back to Have Such a Good Day, the show that wants you to do just that.
Yeah,
Hi, Heather.
yeah. Hi, Sarah Lane. Gosh, episode 194. I mean, we are humming along, Sarah Lane. How are y'all doing out there today?
Yeah, how are y'all doing out there? You know, Heather and I have been talking about episode 200 for some time. But we're actually,
Ad nauseum.
at this point, getting to the point where we're like, oh my God, it's almost episode 200. Like, it's kind of a big
We're creeping.
milestone. I know we've
It's
got
a
a few
huge
eps
milestone.
left. But, you know, I'm like, every time we do a show, I'm like, oh my God, it's almost episode 200.
I know, and it's
So-
like we still have 6 episodes, so it still is 6 weeks away. But if you're tuning in for the first time, this is the show that
Yes.
unpacks the absurdity of everyday life for your entertainment and, well, for sure, our entertainment and hopefully your entertainment. Life's cruel
Sir.
ironies, joyous moments, you know,
Life's
the
cruel
trade-offs.
ironies.
pros
That's a
and
good way to
cons.
put it. And thank you for letting the good people out there what we're doing here, Heather. Because I was just,
No problem,
I was
Sarah.
about ready to launch into my week.
Just launch right into
You
the
were like,
grousing,
wait
yeah.
a second. Let's let the nice people know what this show is about. Yeah.
Very nice people. Y'all are.
Well, you are nice people, and we thank you for being with us. What Heather and I love to do, and life never gives us what is it? There's never a dearth of content. Does that make sense?
There's never a dull moment.
never a dull moment. Yeah, that works too.
It writes itself.
It writes itself.
The fodder
Stranger than
is
fiction.
endless.
Yeah. All of the things. Anyway,
imitates
so yeah, art is imitating life. Yeah, I mean, who even knows? But
Sounds
okay.
like you've spent too much time in the garage, Sarah. You're
Well,
breathing in too many fumes.
Yeah.
how
well,
is garage life treating you, by the way?
Garage life is okay, to be honest.
Settling
So,
in?
yeah, for anybody who's sort of like, garage, what are you doing? So, in my previous house, my studio was in a garage. It was a large garage, and it was actually like kind of cool. Like, you know, it was like my
was,
studio.
yeah.
It was also sort of like my workout space. You know, a variety of storage was in there. It was like, you know, I kind of liked it down there. When I say down there, it was because my house was above the garage. The current garage that I'm in is different. It is not below
Lots of old
anything. Like
lamps.
a lot of lamps. Oh my God, so many lamps in this
Three of
garage.
everything.
To the point where I'm like, why could anybody possibly need so many lamps? And these are not lamps that are being used. These are like garage lamps that are like,
And they're not like
on,
emergency lamps.
like, they're like, well, they're like maybe emergency lamps, but like they're just like hanging out like on a table where I'm like, I don't know that we need like 7 emergency lamps.
Why don't you suggest a garage sale? Emphasis
God.
on the garage.
I should. I very much should. But yes, that is neither here nor there, Heather. What I wanted to talk about on the show today is actually something that like I'm pretty bummed out about, but like I'm not like, you know, gonna like cry or anything, but like I
Don't cry.
a friend of I won't, I promise. I've done that plenty on shows past. A friend of mine is getting married on Saturday, so in just a few days, and it is in the Midwest. I'll kind of just like, I don't know, keep keep the deets, to myself, for her. But I was going. I have been planning to go for, I don't know, a year.
I remember you
And
were talking about it on the show.
yeah, exactly. And I probably about a month ago, I started to get like weird anxiety about travel. And I know, many other people have that. And it wasn't that I didn't think I would have fun. In fact, many of my like closest friends will be there. And it really sucks that I'm not going, but I kind of had to just pull the ripcord and be like, I can't go. I can't go. I don't
When did you
feel
do that?
good. I don't feel like
Uh-huh.
myself, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just need to just say that, And everybody send me
Good.
like text, pics and vids, right? Like, do
Yeah.
that and we'll all be good, but I can't go. I had a lot, of friends who were also going be like, what, why? What happened? I'm like, well, I mean, nothing happened like yesterday, but like, guys, you have to remember that, like, you know, I'm still like a cancer patient.
You're still
Like
healing.
I got kicked out of my house like quite recently. Like, like lots of stuff has happened to the point where I'm like, I just can't get on a plane right now. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Yeah. Did you feel a
So
sense of relief when you backed out?
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
Because that's what I wanted. Like it wasn't like supposed to be some like, ooh, dramatic, like what's wrong with Sarah? Nothing.
No.
I just can't make it happen. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And as soon as I was like, I'm not going, I felt so much better. Now, this is not
Wow.
to say that I'm not gonna, like, really wish that I had gone to this like extremely fun wedding because I know I will. FOMO is real. But
For sure.
sometimes you gotta just do like a little self-care. And so that
You
was
and lean
that
into the
that that
Jomo,
yeah, the Jomo.
the
What is
joy
Jomo?
of missing out.
Joy of missing
The
out. I love
joy.
that.
And you do, and Sarah, you do a lot where it's like, we talk about this a lot, like when you have dinner plans or weekend plans, but they fell through and you're like kind of pumped because you can just like do your own thing and watch a
Yeah.
TV and binge a TV show and like that feeling of freedom. So maybe just lean into the Jomo for a while.
The Jomo. I like that. I will. I will. Yeah. I mean, listen, I think that, and anybody out there who's like nodding their heads in agreement, please do, let us know. Hi at havesuchagoodday.com. But like, I have, I have, I have pulled back on travel so much that travel really freaks me out, you know?
Yep.
And it has nothing to do with what I'm going to do on the other side of the travel. It's the travel itself,
Yeah.
because I just spent so much time not doing it. And,
You've adapted. Yep.
and yeah, like I'm trying to become like a normal person again. And it's a little bit more slow going, than
And that's
I guess
okay.
I thought it would be.
Yeah. Well, you've been through a lot. I mean, like the most that you can imagine in a lot of ways, and you have to give yourself time, your mind and your body. And yeah, it's probably not the healthiest for you to fly right now. Focus on your own personal, like your sleep and your health, and eating right. And when you travel, a lot of that stuff goes out the window, and that's
Yeah.
probably part of the anxiety is you're not in your own bed. and you're in a strange place. You have to acclimate. I mean, I relate. I really do. And I think part of it too is getting older and we get a little bit more attached to our creature comforts and the familiarity of our surroundings. And it's totally legit what you're feeling.
Yeah.
On top of the fact that you're healing from this big health scare, and there's a lot of things going on, not just one thing. So I'm sure your friends will totally understand.
Oh yeah.
And
Well,
the
and
Jomo
you know,
thing,
and they already
really.
have, and you know, we've all talked about it, and it's all fine. But yeah, yeah, it's kind of it's a strange feeling, you know, because I mean, you and I both big travelers,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, the thing I sort of get most out of life is like, let's go to a new place, you
Yeah.
know, and this would have been one of those things, but you know, I just can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, and the thing is like we have to also take into consideration that the world has changed a lot in the last 3 years because of the pandemic. Travel isn't the same. It's a lot crazier. There's a lot of changes to the travel culture. I mean, and like everything has changed, and it's going to keep changing. And I think in a lot of ways, travel is harder for a lot of reasons, and I dread it for those reasons. And I will probably, I go through a lot of mixed emotions when I travel. And it's easiest for me when I just get in the car and go on a road trip. That
Hmm.
could be a great like solution to just like wanting to go on get out of town, go somewhere new, like maybe drive to not too far, like it doesn't have to be out of state or whatever, but have a weekend at a cute little hotel or like, hang out by the pool. I mean, those trips are my favorite because you can throw everything in your trunk, no big deal. You don't have to stress or, overly obsess about like your suitcase and the TSA and like all the hoops you have to jump through to get anywhere these days. I envy that in a way because I do feel the pressure to see the world, and I feel like I need to do it when the time, when the opportunity arises. But yeah, it does come with a price, like everything, really. So I feel you 100%. And I've never gone down more kind of like travel prepping spirals, like where I'm like, what have I done? I never used to say that. I would book a trip and be like, and half the time it's like I'm pumped, but then I'm, worried about a million things. It's just like this yin and yang thing. And
Totally. Yeah.
so, yeah, I mean, you're like, am I going to make it back? Can I get through customs with my passport? What if something happens and I can't come home? I mean, there's a lot of things that happened during the pandemic like that, which I think has changed the world's perception on traveling. I would almost guarantee that, like, statistically, I would say that there's a huge swath of people post pandemic that feel like me, don't want to travel for these same reasons. It's because they're like scared something's going to happen.
Hmm.
They're just a lot more timid to leave home and get on a
You know,
plane,
I would
be off the
say,
ground.
yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, that's all very much true.
Hmm.
And I'm sure a lot of people do feel that way. I don't really feel like that. I
Hmm.
don't feel like it's like, ooh, I'm gonna get COVID if I travel. You know, like, I mean,
Yeah.
just got my latest booster a couple days ago. Everybody go get your boosters. But I'm also like first in line because cancer people. But
You have to, yeah.
yeah, but it's not so much that. It's just like a feeling of like I just I want to feel safe and I want to just
Hmm.
be home.
Yeah,
Wherever home
totally.
is, it's certainly
Hmm.
not an airport, you know?
No.
And that is like I don't know. I want to get over it. I really do. sooner than later, because I think I'm my best when I'm, having fun and seeing the world and stuff like that. But like, I don't
Yeah.
know, I'm not quite ready.
That's okay. I think you will be. You will grow out of this phase. You will,
Yeah.
as we all do. Life is full of these unexpected like twists and turns, and you'll be out there again. You'll be back on the saddle,
Yeah.
and
Thanks,
you'll go somewhere
Hannah.
cool. Seriously, you will. Just like lean into the Jomo, take a deep breath, and just like focus on yourself right
Jomo.
now.
That's the best.
No, I have a
I love
friend
it.
actually. I have a friend in LA who loves Jomo. He doesn't have an ounce of FOMO. We talk about this a lot. He just doesn't have FOMO at all. He has like major JOMO. And I just think it's hilarious. And hearing him talk about it, he loves staying home. He does not want to travel. His wife had to drag him to Europe last year because he has this very rigid routine that's like he's quite rigid with his routine. It makes me feel very, very kind of lax. But and I think he knows that if he goes
Like, how rigid
somewhere like
is
that, he
rigid?
can't.
Like,
Well, he
I
goes to the
mean, not
gym
to
at
like,
like 11 a.m.
go too, deep into like his psyche, but like, what does that mean?
Well, I think he likes his gym time, and when you
Mm-hmm.
travel, it's like you don't always know where you're going to be. He likes to make sure he has certain food. Like he's very into his health and his weightlifting and like all this stuff.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enough about him. But I totally relate to this travel spiral. And y'all out there, if you relate to any of this, please email us at hi@havesuchagoodday.com. We love your support and we love your thoughts and questions and anything, little blurbs. It can be short, it can be long. We really enjoy your correspondence.
All the
I'm
blurbs.
actually pre-show today. We tested out a little microphone. Speaking of traveling, I'm going to be on the road for a while, and yeah, I have a lot of concerns that I will get to in probably the next few weeks on the show. But currently, I'm in the kind of more of the fun planning phase
Mm.
where you pick and choose where you're going to go and what you're going to do. I mean, I haven't drilled down to like restaurants and like activities. It's more like, okay, so like we're going from A to B to C and then back to, like that part. We're still not totally booked. But this is kind of a fun phase. And I'm actually really enjoying this, trying to figure out how to do the show on the road. So I purchased this mic. I'll tell you guys more about what it is in case you guys are interested. But we did a test and it was our first test and it actually worked out pretty well. So
Yeah.
I will report back on how the audio sounds. But I'm actually on my regular mic that I normally use just to be safe. So yeah, so everything's kind of a blessing and a curse. And so it's like in a lot of ways it's a blessing not to worry about traveling like where you're at right now because you can kind of simplify and just like focus on your day-to-day life. And
Yeah.
then me on the other hand, I'm like falling down this like, oh gosh, I've got to get that best and biggest carry-on luggage that you can fit in the overhead bin, but like you don't want to have to check it, but you have to find and you're measuring and you're making sure that you have that like perfect piece of luggage that has like the right wheels and everything. And so you go down these wire cutter like rabbit holes trying to find like the best, personal item that can fit under the seat, so you're comfortable in the airplane and you still have room for your feet kind of thing. And just all of that stuff where I noticed that I've gotten way more obsessive about that stuff where I just want everything to be just right. And the thing is that you can't have that. You're going to go and
Now when you're
stuff's going to happen.
traveling,
Not when you're traveling. You can do your best ahead of
yeah,
time,
but you have to be
but
flex.
you have to be flex. And I think that's what can be really anxiety inducing for me. And not that I'm not flexible in my day-to-day life, but a lot more can happen when you're kind of, flying by the seat of your pants and like, packing certain clothes that you can maybe wash in the sink of your hotel bathroom. And you're kind of, if you're on the go for that long, you really have to plan things out like very meticulously. And that meticulousness, I don't like being in that space because it's like I lay awake at night thinking about that what I have to be meticulous about, and
Maybe
it's
that's
kind of
part of the
stressful.
reason that travel freaks me out. It's like
Yeah,
it's
I think
not about
maybe.
like making a flight. Like, well, I've missed lots of flights, but like it's not about like it's not that. Yeah, it's more of just like that, like did I pack everything? Do I have
Yeah.
everything? Am I comfy? Is the bed going to be comfy? When I get
Is it going to
there,
be a
is
good
there going to be like a
pillow?
weird like situation where like I can't get in and I'm
Yeah.
sweaty or
Yeah, that's
all those things.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge part of it because I'm experiencing that a lot, and that's new for me. I never really felt that feeling until like maybe a couple years ago. So I kind of blame pandemic times with aging and getting more
Pandemic can be
comfortable.
blamed for lots of things.
It can, for sure. And then
I
you
mean,
get, and but no, I mean, I
it
really,
was
I'm
a
not.
piss poor couple of years. Let's be
It was, and
honest.
it
Yeah.
kind of greased the wheels for a lot of feelings and a lot of things, and it really upended our lives in a lot of ways. And I think we're still really trying to kind of break away from those feelings. And
Yeah.
I feel like also when I say age, I don't mean that, oh, I'm tired, and I mean that there's that, and oh, I need a comfortable pillow and a comfortable bed. Of course, there's that piece. But I think it's also really trying to like curate a place to stay that like is affordable but not too sketchy neighborhood, but like not too far from a metro station, making sure there's like, where am I going to get my coffee? I mean, I've been dependent on coffee first thing in the morning for years now,
Girl, I
like
mean, I am probably the last user of Foursquare for that exact reason, where I'm like, where's the best coffee place near me?
does that still exist, that app?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I
yeah.
I actually have not heard that word for a long
Oh
time. I
yeah.
used to use it all
Yep.
the, so do you still use it?
I have not heard that word in a long, long time. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't because I'm not traveling all that often, but
Yeah.
I mean, 100%. First thing I do, well, I actually kind of do it before I get there, but where I'm
I
like,
usually do too.
I just like, if I have to because I get up early and like, I'm gonna want coffee and like, where do I go? So
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
gonna do it ahead of time for sure. I'm gonna have
yeah.
to. I mean, or I'm gonna go get some like to go stuff. They have these. It's funny. I never knew these existed until I did the film last year. But this guy used to bring these. They have little chocolate squares that are coffee squares. So they're not chocolate, but they're wrapped like a little like piece of chocolate, one serving, and it's like cafe latte and like vanilla latte, and they're basically it's caffeine in like a little bar. So I'm like, maybe I'll grab some of those for my luggage. But yeah, no, it's just funny. Like I could use one of the bags that I already have, but then it doesn't have enough zippers, or it doesn't have like the right pocket to fit on my it just and you go down these rabbit holes on the internet. People, I mean, there's so many travel blogs, there's so many people talking about. I have a friend who I've mentioned on the show who is constantly traveling, and she's part of her job and her specialty is like, she's a really good packer, and she's like a minimalist, and she's made like a life out of it, like a career out of it. And so I've been like watching her videos, and I'm like, when did this become so like maximized, streamlined? Because I just feel like back in the day, like in the 60s and the 70s, it was so much simpler, and nobody overthought it like this. And I blame this high-tech society a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I'd like to hear from y'all out there if you are relating to this at all, or maybe you're not relating to this. Maybe you're really old school and you do not get what we're talking about. Email us at hi@havesuchagoodday.com.
Indeed, indeed. Well, Heather, I know you are embarking on a pretty fun trip pretty soon. And
Hopefully,
I,
we're crossing our fingers.
well, I mean, okay,
So
sure.
fun will be had. Fun will be had, I'm sure.
Fun will be the trip is happening. Whether or not Heather has fun is yet to be determined. But but yeah, so and I don't want to seem like some like weird person who like can't travel. I just I feel like
You don't.
you got to choose your battles. Got to
And I will
choose your
say, Sarah, for
battles.
you to be honest with yourself and to know that's what you need right now. I mean, it sounds cheesy, but it is kind of the first step. Like so many people will just say yes when they mean no, or
Yeah. Yeah.
just like they want to make other people happy, but they don't realize that they're really suffering. So I think that's really great that you know what you need right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, truly, the idea of like getting on a plane for me, like this week, is like, it's not happening. I'm not doing it.
No,
If
don't do
I
it.
did it, it would be like pulling teeth. And like, who want, like, you don't even want, like, this is, because my friend's getting married. My friend knows that I'm not coming. She doesn't want me like there to be like, all like discombobulated kind of thing. Like, no.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to say, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm going to sit this
You
one
just got to say
out.
no.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
say
going to
no.
sit this one out. Speaking of sitting it out, if, if that is even a segue that we can do. So Heather, um, do you have friends? And I'm gonna say it this way because probably this is the only way you would know it. Do you have friends who have children who hang out in Roblox, the app?
Oh, yeah. I've the friends, kids that I'm closest to, I've talked to about this, and all of them, it's like their favorite game. I go, "What's your favorite game?" And it's either Minecraft. Usually it's like Minecraft first or second, and then Roblox is usually first or second.
Right. Which is, so for anybody who's like, no, never heard of it, most of you have. But if you haven't, it's not really a game. It's I would call it more of like a like Lego experience, but in some sort of metaverse than anything else. Kids love Roblox. I remember a couple years ago, I went over to my friend's house, and her daughter was about maybe 8, maybe 9 at the time, and like just old enough to be like, "Ugh, mom and her friend are like drinking wine and like being so annoying. Like, I just want to play Roblox. And
Yeah.
it was really cute. And, of course, because I'm myself, I was like, well, show me, what server are you on? Like, I want to know more about this. Like, this is like a kid thing. Like, I don't know anybody on Roblox. Like, so you're like my intel. And she was like, okay, so let me show you. And like, I really like this boy, and like, he hangs out in this server, but like, we hang out in Roblox. And I'm like, but do you hang out like as friends, like at school? And she's like, sort of, but it's more here. Where I was like, okay, got it. Like there's something to be said about especially being at, an age where you're trying to figure things out.
Yep.
And so I thought that the latest news that I saw this morning, this was on CSNBC, but the news has been elsewhere, that Roblox wants to make it easier for adults to have fun on Roblox as well. You might say, well, what does that mean? Like,
That's
like,
exactly what I was going to say.
yeah, like what, like, is this Facebook? Like, what are you doing? Well, so the whole idea with Roblox up until, like today, was that it was very much not necessarily like a kid friendly space, but that's where all their users, the users were, like under like 13. So now the company has said, okay, we would like people above 17 years of age, so adults, right, to be able to, also have fun on Roblox. For example, you know, um, things, because it's all about building stuff, like things that, depict, drinking alcohol, or, maybe like blood, or,
Well, what about like
like
even like dinner and a movie or like
yeah,
dinner and a
just
show? Does it
yeah,
have to
like
be like dark
adult
and edgy?
things. And
Yeah.
it was funny because I don't use Roblox, but I know, many of my friends' kids do. So I polled a couple of people earlier today. I was like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" Like, just trying to, test the temp. And they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh God, here, this is, now Roblox is going to be a whole porn thing. It's just like going to be ruined." And I was like, "Well, but it's not going to be a porn thing. I mean, at least not at this point. It's more of just like if you were playing Grand Theft Auto, right? Like it's like you're you're probably like there's a little bit of like a, oh yeah, like I'm gonna like, shoot someone in the face because this is a video game and not real life kind of thing.
Yeah.
Roblox
Yeah.
probably is like, well, we could probably tap into that market a little bit, but also, keep the kids safe, and the two are, discreet
Yeah.
in a sense. And I don't go in there, so I don't really know. But like, I thought it was really interesting, the fact
Very.
that like so many of my friends who have kids were like, "This is a terrible idea." You let them in, and it's gonna go all to heck. I'm like, is it? I mean, I don't know.
I'm actually, when you said Grand Theft Auto, that piqued my interest because I really loved that game. I mean, other
Yeah.
than the shooting part, which I know was a big part of it, was like, the fights you'd get into, which I preferred those to like the
Heather's
gun
like,
use.
I loved fights, just not
No,
guns.
yeah, I mean those were fine. I think part of the problem was like I'm kind of an old school video gamer. I'm used to like the NES and like the Intellivision and stuff. So when as as like video games evolve, I mean they've obviously the controllers have just gotten way more complex. And I remember when I was playing Grand Theft Auto, I was really good at like the open world stuff. I mean, you can't really be good at it, but like I was really into wandering, going off into the ocean, seeing what's under there, like going, like I love that part of Grand Theft Auto. That was my favorite part. But yeah, and stealing vehicles and just like jumping on a bike and, whatever. Like the open world thing was dope. But whenever it came to like me having to like earn money or like get points and you have to fight, you have to like, shoot people and all this stuff. And I just was like, like the controller's so like I couldn't figure out how to actually do that properly. And so I would just sort of give up. But I did love that game, and I could see myself liking an adult version of Roblox. Whoever came up with that idea, like I sort of picture a bunch of executives, the Roblox team, like in their
Well,
like
it's a
meeting
bunch
room.
of people saying, let's tap into a market that has more
Of
disposable
course.
income.
100%.
Like,
100
you know, and
150%.
let's sell them weird things. Like, I get it. Like, this is not like weird to me. I just, I don't know. I find it fascinating when like, parents are like, "Oh man, Roblox is for kids." And it's like, no it isn't. It's a
Yeah, and
company.
I mean, the next thing we know, and they may already be doing this, you would know, Sarah, but just using, like an AR VR like headset to like create things or to be in the Roblox world,
Yeah.
and actually build stuff with like your hands, like you're, in the make you look really silly standing there. But yeah, I'm kind of like pulled out of the video game world. Like I'm really not up to speed on other than the fact that like I know what the kids are kind of playing because of my friends' kids, but I've never been more sort of out of the loop on that stuff. And I'm much more in the loop on stuff I never thought I would be. Like, yeah, like basically looking at all of my properties and realizing how much needs to be fixed and how the innocence of being a renter, where you just rent an apartment and you come and go and you don't care. And then now being somebody who has to run these things sees all the flaws and sees how tenants thrash and trash your property every single day and having to solve all those problems. That is kind of my world. Some fun stuff that I'm doing lately is, in a way, this is actually a nice segue because I'm building like real things. It's not Roblox, but I'm having to figure out how to fix, upgrade for tenants to make them happier and for the economy and just for like all around goodness. Make these places more livable, more aesthetically pleasing, safer, all of these things. And I have to, go to these places and actually go there physically and look at them for myself. And I've been doing that a lot more lately. I didn't for the first few years. I kind of just avoided going over there. And it's pretty fascinating. I mean, every nook and cranny, it's just there are so many things to think about. It's quite a can of worms. But one of the projects that I do like that I'm working on has been coming up with a color scheme for a very large Victorian that is, it's not like just like, okay, what color do I want to paint the walls of my office? I did that last year. That was actually makes it seem like child's play. But I'm working on coming up with a color scheme for a building that's smack dab in the middle of a town, in the center of everything. And it's a little bit of pressure, but like I just want to do what's right and what's nice for everybody. So as I'm doing this, I'm in this process of like having to find the right colors for this building. I'm basically putting a lot of thought into it. I like it. But I'm in this small community and it still feels kind of weird, like I'm in this strange dream. And I go to these paint shops and these hardware shops, and I'm literally the only woman, the only girl. And there's like a line of like, hardcore dude contractors with big trucks. And they look at me like I'm an alien. And it's like a very strange experience. I'm like, what am I doing here? And I feel like really a fish out of water. And I feel like this has been the thing that's kind of been nagging me lately, in terms of sort of an existential crisis, I guess, and just constantly feeling like, am I not living in the right place for who I am as a person? I'm like, I feel like I just sort of stick out like a sore thumb. But then I'm like, I kind of flip flop because I sometimes think, well, maybe this is great. Take advantage of being in a place that's a
Well,
little
and
ill-fitting.
also like, the idea of like, I don't know, going to, get, a coffee in the morning on your way to, do the work day and having a bunch of dudes be like, what's she doing here? Like,
Yeah.
fuck them.
I know. And it's not that I care what they think. It's just that I feel like I'm in an environment that's strange to me, that
Yeah.
isn't quite me. And I
Yeah.
think that the natural beauty of like where the house is it couldn't be better, can't be beat. I mean, that's why I'm here. But it's a very interesting process, and I'll keep you guys posted. But I think that maybe just leaning into the fact that this is an opportunity, even if it feels ill-fitting, like I'm kind of trying it on for size. It doesn't have to be forever, and that's okay, kind of thing. I mean, look at what I'm able to do. I mean, I'm not sure this would come up in a big city. Like I may not have this opportunity to upgrade these buildings and really learn. Like I feel like this is such a great education. But I want to hear from y'all out there. What is nagging you lately? It doesn't have to be existential or philosophical or like big picture. It could be anything. It could be your cat. Please email us at hihavesuchagoodday.com and we can grouse together.
Indeed, we can. And Heather, You sent me the cutest video this morning.
Oh, yes. I
Would you
did want
like
to
to
mention
tell
this.
the good people out there like what the video
Yes.
was? This was Elijah taking the video, but it brought me quite a bit of joy.
I'm so glad because it brought me so much joy too. And I didn't post it on Instagram. I'll probably send it to the Discorders because they're special. I only sent it to a couple friends, but basically my cat Charles, to be specific, he's the tuxedo kitty. He's about 12, so he's definitely getting a little bit more on the, he's an older kitty.
He's getting up there.
He's getting up there. And so he has his own bedroom only because we don't use it as a guest room. I mean, we can, but we have like an ADU. So when we have people come stay, they usually have their own place. And so we turned this into his own room because my other cat, Ziggy, who's about 5, still has like very much like this annoying kitten. He's kind of a bully. And I see him bullying Charlie, especially at night when they like, they're nocturnal, so they get all this energy. And like watching,
Just like a weird like kitty dude thing.
yeah, and Charlie doesn't even defend himself. He just kind of like hisses and growls and kind of cowers. So it's really helped the dynamic putting him in his own bedroom. And what's cute is he like when the time comes when we go to bed, he knows it's time for him to go in the room. So he kind of patiently waits by the door. And then we open the door and he runs in. He's like excited. And then in the morning we open the door to let him out. He basically he sleeps in the bed like a human. Like he is literally he's
so
under the
cute.
covers and he bounds out from under the covers like a little human baby.
Like he's like a 3-year-old
like
child.
ready to have a cup of coffee.
Like,
it's so
good
cute.
morning.
It is so
I'm ready to
cute.
hang out. I've been
Like, it kills
under the
me.
covers all night.
It slays
It
me.
is-
And it's
so
every day.
cute.
And Elijah told me about this the other day. And I'm like, you have to video it because I haven't seen it because he's usually up before me and he lets the Kraken out. But this is another reason why I stress about travel. I won't get into it, but I like don't want to be away from my aging animal for more, like a month. That's a long time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, no, I appreciate
That's
you
a
bringing
real
that up
thing.
because it was very, very, very adorable.
So adorable. Oh my gosh. Just the cutest thing, like Charlie saying, "Oh, hello and good morning. I'll just go ahead and get out of my twin bed."
And he's
now."
all like, he's got bedhead and he's all like kind of frazzled.
He's like,
he's all sleepy.
I wasn't waiting by the door. I was just chilling.
Oh, and also when I pick him up, like first thing, I pick him up and he stretches in my arms and he'll reach back like a human with his arms and like do a full body stretch. It's so cute. He must be like 10 feet wide. Anyway, enough about that. But you cat lovers out there will relate.
You know when he does that, you have to say big stretch.
I think I
Because
do.
if you don't, it's it could be sort of a catastrophic thing. You have to say big stretch when they do a big stretch.
Catastrophic. I see what you did there.
No, it was really, really, really cute. Really cute.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, Sarah.
I really did. Well, we hope you have enjoyed this show. Just a reminder, we're a little pod. Heather and I do everything ourselves. We are completely dependent on Patreon to help us make the show better. We'd love more of you. Patreon.com/have such a good day is where to find out more about how to do this thing. And we have mentioned Discord a couple of times during the show. Our Discorders are the coolest. We love you, Discorders. If you want to become a patron, you can join Discord and you can go to our page and find out more about that. By the way, Patreon is kind of doing some like new stuff on its own. And we are trying to just sort of come to terms with, like how that works for us, how that works for you. If you have ideas, please let us know because, we wouldn't be doing this without you. So,
Definitely not.
so yeah. So,
For sure
yeah.
not.
So let us know how you feel.
And don't forget to spread the good word about Have Such a Good Day. Tell your neighbor, tell your yoga instructor, tell your cat.
Oh, I love that song. All right, so before I get too weird, episode 194 is coming to a close. We appreciate you all so much. We will see you next week. And until then, I will remain Sarah.
And I will always be Heather. Have such a good day.
Forever.
Bye.
Bye.